The year is 1999. The woman is Eldora Rubio. It was her first day on the job as the first full-time female firefighter in Belize.
The hardest part is, we say, like, this being in the sunlight for maybe 3 hours in a suit. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, the hose are not heavy?
They are heavy, but once you get used to it, you'll get accustomed to it. So to be as good as the other guys, to become like a professional there.
And firefighter Rubio became that professional, just as good as or better than the guys. Fast forward 2 decades, it's 2021. She's the fire safety officer with the Belize National Fire Service. This trailblazer has inspired other women to pursue a career in firefighting.
I've heard from 2 of the females, especially 2 of the females that are working, that I did motivated them when they first saw me, right? And that gave me a sense of accomplishment, right? And it helps me continue to reach this point. I was basically on my own for like the first 10 years or 5 years. After 2 other females that came in with me, they end up resigning a couple years after. So I was around, you can say, on my own for a few amount of years. And they tend to overlook you for those training, right? Because you're a female, you're considered the weaker link.
Rubio is anything but weak, and she'll tell you that those early years were tough. She wasn't welcomed as a firefighter and was often overlooked for training opportunities. After all, many of her male counterparts felt there was no place for a woman on the firefighting squad, but she was determined to become a career firefighter, not despite of, but because she was a woman.
1999, it wasn't that welcoming because firefighting was considered a male-dominated job. So about, you could say, more than 50% of them basically didn't want me here. Some of my colleagues that I've trained with, they didn't tell me it up front, but afterwards they told me if it wasn't for me, they would have quit the training. But I helped motivated them to finish because their thing is a female will not beat me. So they push themselves to finish. Throughout the years, I've proven myself. I showed them that I can carry my own weight, that I can do my work, and I gained their respect throughout the years.
How did you motivate yourself during those years?
The job. I fell in love with the job. So coming to work every day, expecting something different every day, you don't know what to expect when you come to work.
What is it that you love about this job?
The challenge. It's been challenging from the start, not only with the emergency calls that we go on, but the guys that you work with. Because eventually I became supervisor for some of them, right? And after a while, they came around and they learned to respect me.
There are 6 full-time female firefighters in the Belize National Fire Service, and the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Reduction wants to recognize trailblazer firefighter Rubio.
We believe in this ministry that we have to give women recognition, especially, as you mentioned, in those areas where it's not traditional or even cultural to see some of these women get involved, and especially making a career of such. In the area of firefighting, there are a few women who are involved. Congratulate Ms. Eldora Betson Rubio from the National Fire Service of Belize.
As a fire safety officer, Rubio's job is to educate students about fire safety. She also leads fire marshal trainings as well as fire safety inspections to help keep businesses and other public places safe. Rubio's career is an example of how she has broken barriers and forged a path for other women in what's a traditionally male-dominated field. To date, it's one of the most rewarding experiences of her life.
Second to having my son, This is the best decision I've made. I wouldn't change anything, even the challenges with the guys. I think they made me stronger. They made me more dedicated to the job. Their behavior towards me, or when I first started, actually pushed me to prove to them that I could do the same thing that they can do. So I wouldn't change anything, because going through that actually made me be the person I am today.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.
That was a Flashback Friday. It wasn't too far of a flashback. That was a feature done for our news program where Andrea looked back at, Andrea Polanco, or reporter, looked back at the accomplishments of one female firefighter who started at a time where she was an anomaly, and seeing her all these years later still in the profession and still encouraging others to get involved as well.
That's right. It's never too late. Actually, times are changing now. Get into it. Whatsoever you're feeling, whatsoever you feel like doing, this is your opportunity to get on into it and continue to skyrocket from there. But nonetheless, we're about to get on now into our second segment. This one is all about Child Stimulation Month, the Ministry of Education activities. They'll be telling us all about it. In with us, we have Lurleen Betson and also Kenlynn Welch. Ladies, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
We're singing. Morning. So we're seeing you guys on the screen. You guys are looking lovely on a Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lurleen, let's get on into it. Child Stimulation Month. Tell us all about it and what must we expect?
All right. So like each year we have Child Stimulation Month, and this is where we get to celebrate our preschoolers. And on a normal basis, we would start with the parade, where we would flood the streets countrywide with our preschoolers parading and displaying the different teams, which comes under the curriculum. Yeah. But this year, because of COVID, we had to do things a little bit different, but never to say the less that we can't come together as a huge group, but there is nothing short in terms of Child Stimulation Month. And we marked the month open last week, Friday, with a virtual rally. And just to give you a little bit of details in terms of the virtual rally, that was one that really warmed my heart. And I say that because of the fact that because of COVID, sometimes we sit back and we say, oh man, what is happening to our little babies? Is it that they're not getting any type of stimulation? Do the parents really have time to assist them? Because for older children, it's easier for them to get on a laptop, get on a computer and be able to navigate. But with our babies now, we need the parents. But guys, I must say that the virtual rally, I ended up shedding a little happy tear, because when I went from district to district, the turnout and the participation proved that, you know what, our preschoolers are still being stimulated. Yeah. So what we did this year, like I said, was a virtual rally. So we looked at each district, we visited each district, and the district officers were responsible to get a child to do an activity, a parent and a child, and a teacher. So we went a little bit different. So when we videotape those, we combine all of it, and then we had our first of its kind virtual rally last week, Friday, and that is where I met little Kenlynn.
Aww. And Kenlynn looks so excited to be with us this morning. How are you, Kenlynn?
Good.
Okay, tell me a little bit you about yourself. What's your name? How old are you? And what school do you go to?
What's your name? Kenlynn Welch, and I'm 4 years old. And I go to my Y.W.C.A. I go to my Y.W.C.A. preschool.
Okay.
So cute.
Mommy, we're doing you a disservice there. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Sherilyn Rodriguez. I'm Kenlyn's mommy.
Thank you so much for getting her up early. She looks really excited.
Yes, she was sleeping.
Well, you know,
I'm so sleepy. I didn't want to get up.
Uh-oh. But you look like you have so much energy now. Did you have breakfast? Not yet.
Not yet.
It's very early, we know. Mommy, this is a great time for you to provide some feedback. Distance and online and at-home learning has been different for every household. And of course, it depends on age. It depends on how you are learning. Tell us what it's been like for you doing the at-home schooling with a preschooler.
It's been really good, actually. I happen to work from home, so prior to my daughter going to the preschool, she actually saw me, logging on, having my own virtual meetings as such. So when it was her turn to do it, she was just excited. So all the participation, I'm glad that the teachers at Y, they engage the students doing both live classes and pre-recorded lessons. So every day she's kept very busy. She has a lot of work to do all the time. So the stimulation is really effective, Miss Lurleen. Well, coming from Y, right?
Yeah. And that can be seen across all districts, because like I made mention, the way we did the rally, when you look at parents actually participating, some of them sang, some of them danced, some of them said poems. I mean, you could see their eyes lit up, and you could see that, you know what, some of them actually maybe for the first time said, I can really assist my child, I could really do more. So when you look at early childhood and the preschool sector, being forced to use different platforms and being forced to have that bond isn't that bad or as bad as we may have thought it would have been.
Yeah. Exactly where I wanted to go, because I've got a young one. I've got a 3-year-old, and she is enrolled in preschool. But the thing about it, though, is that she prefers to do work with her peers, like children like herself, and it's tough when they're not there. So how are you guys coping, or having parents or coaxing parents actually to try and get their children much more involved, especially at the preschool level?
You know, I have to really say hats off to our teachers. Yeah. I have seen teachers gone over and beyond what they even do inside a regular classroom setting. And I say this because like sometimes I would look at the Facebook page, or sometimes they would send me videos, and I really see teachers in their element. You see teachers putting out some stories. You see teachers teaching, actually doing the little virtual teaching in groups. And I have a lot of teacher friends, and some of them would say, you know what, Lurleen, I actually have 3 different sessions. So I would take 5 of my students for this period of time, another 5, another 5. Some of them actually do it in the evening time, just to assist parents who would work and would have to take their children to maybe the grandparents or a babysitter. So then they wait until the parents get home, and then they would do their little teaching in the evening. So our teachers, our preschool teachers, are really going over and beyond. And the beauty about it is it's becoming infectious. Yeah. Because at first it was just a few of them really going the extra mile. But I could safely say across all districts right now, we have majority of our preschool teachers fully on board with trying their best to reach them. For people who don't have Facebook, I see some of the teachers utilize WhatsApp. Majority of us have WhatsApp. So they would do little video tapings and share that in the parent group. And so there are different little tactics that they're using that is really and truly helping our little ones.
Child Stimulation Month is really an opportunity to, in previous conversations, to have parents get involved. But what we've had is a child stimulation year, because parents do have to be involved, especially at that preschool level. It's like you don't have a choice, because the child isn't going to open the computer or WhatsApp on their own. Maybe a game, but not school.
Yes. So for us, it worked out, because initially when COVID came around, we had a lot of discussion around primary school and high school, and it's like we felt left out. And when I say we, I'm speaking for my preschool parents and my preschoolers, because we all know that preschoolers are touchy. So they are going to touch each other, and that's one of the ways in terms of how COVID spread. So like you rightly said, we had a year of more engagement with parents and teachers and parents and child.
Yeah.
Ms. Betson, you know, I'm here thinking that because what normally happens is that especially the children in the preschool setting or kindergarten, they're prepped to go to another level. But normally what happens is that this is physically done. You know, you're there with them, it's a hands-on learning. They know that when it comes to, and sometimes you actually show them the different teachers, like this is teacher so-and-so, you'll be meeting her in, but that's not done right now. Or I'm thinking, what is being done to prep them to move to another level? We're in another year, a new school year will be starting shortly.
You know what? COVID is doing us a favor, because some of our preschool setting used to be mini primary school, where they want the student to sit down and do a lot of writing, do a lot of math, which the main focus was math and literacy per se. Yeah. But now it has to be more hands-on activities. Yeah. So it works for us. It works for us in the sense that teachers can no longer just give a whole set of sit down and trace or different activities like that, but they have to be more creative in terms of what they do. And because they're being more creative, the interaction between teacher and child and parent and child is still there. We are fully cognizant, fully aware of the fact that when school does reopen, a lot of our students are going to be back a little. But because preschool doesn't focus on the academics, but rather the social aspect, that's the direction that we're going, to create that bond, to let them understand, you know what, I need to be able to live in a world, and this is where the tricky part comes in, because they're not physically playing with another child. And that's why I know some of our teachers try their best to form little groups so that they could actually see, this is how I look, I'm your teacher, like you rightly said, these are your classmates. So even though we don't want our preschoolers to be online for long periods of time, we have some very short videos that teachers do, some of them 3 minutes, and they ask them to do a little activity. I even see some of our students getting up and exercising, so the teacher is saying, raise your hand, right hand, and they're actually doing it. So it's working. It's not foolproof for the academic world, but it's foolproof in terms of the interaction that parents especially are having. And then we have the teachers who are more of a support to the parents or oldest brothers and sisters.
I love what you're saying, because it's acknowledging both sides. It's seeing where we know that this very different year has caused some changes in how children learn, but the opportunity that came from it is that you have active parent engagement with the little ones. But I chuckled earlier, because I know in previous conversations we've talked about this so much, that you always say that in preschools the pressure comes from the parents, that they want to see academic success. In other words, how many numbers you know, how many letters you know, are you writing and spelling, versus understanding how preschoolers learn, which is through play. And well, Lurleen, I think after this year, at least this group of parents, they'll understand very much just how much they see their children are able to learn new things through little playful activities.
And our teachers are well aware that whenever classes open up back, students may not necessarily be at the level that they should be. Some will, because they have parents like the mother sitting here with us today who is able to do it, but teachers are fully aware that we will have a few students who will need that extra. And our teachers are ready to be back in the classroom for the most part.
I could imagine.
Well, let's hear from Kenlynn too.
Yeah.
Kenlynn, tell us, what are you learning in school? I didn't hear you. Can you say it again, please?
What are you learning in school? What did you learn this week? Physical education.
Tell me.
What did you learn? They did physical education this week. So we had to lay out her exercise mat for her live classes. And she got her little dumbbells, her bottle of water. So it was very physical this week for her. But yeah, she's been learning a lot. They've been doing patterns recently. They continuously learn a lot about their numbers. So they're all the way up to 50 right now.
Kenlynn, you can count to 50?
She's thinking about it.
Can you? Okay, so you do exercises at home, right?
I do.
Yeah, what kind of exercises do you do?
I do the dumbbells.
The dumbbells? What do you do with them?
What do you do with the dumbbells? You work out your arms, right?
I work out my arms,
Really?
my legs, and my arms again, and my legs again.
Okay, and what do? You lift them up? Do you put them to the side?
You put them up and down.
Up and down. Are they very heavy? No.
Wow.
That means
the 2-pound one.
That means you're a very strong girl. How about our alphabet? Yeah. ABCs?
Yes.
You can do your ABCs?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Would you show us?
You want to say your ABC? No.
All right. What if we do it with you? Would you teach me and John?
You want to teach them how to do the ABC?
Yes.
All right. Let's go.
So let's start. John will start first.
All right, you ready? You want to count me down? You want to count 1, 2, 3, and then we start?
Yeah.
All right, so do it, and I will start.
1, 2, 3.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
H, I, J, K, L, M,
N,
N, O,
P. Let's continue. Q, R, S,
T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Know my ABCs. Next, I want you to sing with me.
Yay! Good job.
So, Kenlynn's mom, I forget your name, forgive me. What's your name again?
Lurleen.
All right. So, I want to get into a realistic part of this thing here, because there are a lot of parents just like you who are right here at home, and they must be along with the kids as well. Talk to us about the interaction with the child while you have work and trying to get everybody engaged. And I'm saying this because this is actually reality as we speak. How do you do that?
Well, you know, everything is about schedules, and this has been me from ever since, right? So I need to plan out my life, and that's exactly how we've continued to work through COVID. I have my work schedule, and of course I had to incorporate homeschooling into that. So I block out certain hours on my calendar. So my my employers know, they're fully aware of the situation. So everybody has had to adapt during this time. So they know that, you know, they're in the same boat I am. They have kids at home that they have to make sure that they're doing their homeschooling. So yeah, like I said, scheduling, just making sure that time is set aside to make sure that homework is done, to make sure that they attend the live classes, to make sure that they're viewing these recorded sessions, making sure that, you know, all the all the equipment, the internet, everything is always working. So we have cell phones, we have tablet, we have the laptops to make sure that she's engaged. I mean, I go so far as to get her, I pay for ABC Mouse because it's not all the time that I could sit down and engage her. Sometimes I have work to do, but she wants attention, right? So just to make sure that while I'm working, that she's doing something, she's learning, not only spending time on YouTube, which we know these kids are in love with these days.
Tell me about
watching all of these things on YouTube that to me have no educational value, but it helps them. They know how to navigate the technology, and so I guess that's the plus side to it. Yeah. The answer to your question is scheduling and sticking to that schedule.
I think you just spoke on behalf of lots of parents out there about the YouTube part especially. But Lurleen, let's bring in another perspective. What about the parents who can't work from home, or the parents who feel ill-equipped to be able to guide their children through the learning? What have you found has been the solution so far? How has the ministry and the teachers been able to kind of assist there?
I'll start from the parent standpoint. Yes, we still have parents who either may have the time but don't know how to communicate or to present the materials to students. We do have those type of parents. We're fully aware of that. And what I have seen teachers doing is, like I said, do short videos. So it's basically just to, the parent would just open up whatever app, whether it's the use of the cell phone, and press play, and the teacher is actually teaching. So then there is limited amount of, what's the word I want to use? There is limited knowledge necessary for the parents to do, because the teacher is like, you're physically watching the teacher in motion, and the teacher is doing all the teaching. Yes, it would be ideal for parents to be able to sit beside the child and to navigate and help them and so forth. But we do know that we don't have parents who, some don't have the time and some don't know how. So that's one way. From the ministry standpoint, our Facebook page has been blowing up and has been active in terms of putting up different activities and different things. Like I said, when we would find different videos or so forth from teachers, we share them. So that's another way that the information is getting out. I know that the ministry has launched a Sesame Street program. Oh, cool. And I don't know if you remember Sesame Street, and that's way back when I was a young child with Elmo. I remember Elmo good. I watched the first version of that, and even though it's a very short cartoon, it teaches you different skill. Like the first one that was launched that I saw taught about directions and how Elmo was able to find the queen's crown because he followed the direction that was given to him. So I know that's another way that the ministry is working on helping, and that program can be viewed on our ministry Facebook page daily, every day at 9 o'clock. And I do know that they're working out how we could get it probably on Channel 5. That's still in the pipeline. So we're trying to reach parents and to assist our students and our parents using different modalities. But as a ministry, our education officers right now are being that support arm for teachers, encouraging teachers to continue doing the awesome job that they're doing. I know for Kayo, and Kayo comes in mind because I was speaking to one of the officers, what they do is they have this group chat and they share and they plan activities as a district. So even if you are a young teacher and let's say, for example, the letter S comes up and you don't know how to present it virtually, they actually do that planning as a district. So you could just pull out certain materials. So it's like they bounce on each other's strength. So those are some of the things that we are really trying and hoping that we're able to reach those who are really in need of our help.
Excellent.
And I think it's so important that we talk about, while we can acknowledge that it is challenging for some parents, and some parents also have different level of engagement or time available to do the work. What's the most essential thing that parents of preschoolers can do?
The most essential thing.
Yeah.
I think I would say being there and trying with the child.
Yeah.
Even though it may not be perfect,
Yeah.
the child in turn won't give up.
Yeah.
Because and I say that because remember, our preschoolers aren't vocal enough to say, "Mommy, why is it I can't?" Some of them will ask, "Mommy, why is it I can't go to school?" And then you say, "Baby, because of COVID," and then the other why comes. And so they can't internalize that, you know what, there's this big disease out there.
Yeah.
And if you go out there, this is what is going to happen. So there's a little fear and a little distance that they may be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying to parents that making that connection, looking at the affective domain in terms of being there, of socializing with your child, is going to go a long way. And while the socializing and the talking to the child, hugging the child and so forth becomes easier, the academic component is going to eventually trickle in.
Yeah.
Because if your child is used to you being around and trying to help and talking to him or her, then when you want to say, "Okay, baby, let's count our numbers," it's easier for that child to come and try with you, as opposed to you just going to work, coming home, doing your work, and then you say, "Okay, let's sit down and count."
Yeah.
The distance and the separation is going to be there.
Yeah. You're
I'd
totally
like
right.
to add to that too. You know, for us parents, we have to remember to have patience with our babies.
Yes.
Wait, we have to show John's face. Go ahead.
I have had to remind myself quite often, like, you know, when I'm getting irritable, like, we are all going through what's happening together.
Yeah.
And even us as adults, sometimes it's hard to control how you're feeling. So imagine a little baby, you know, 2, 3, 4 years old, they're still learning, you know, so shouting at them, getting mad at them, being irritable. Sometimes as parents, we just have to check ourselves, you know, even if you have to stop in the middle of a lesson and say, "You know what, let's get some water," you know, or, "All right, you go and wash your face, I'll get some water," you know, just take that little break.
Yeah.
Remind yourself that this is just a little child and they need for you to engage with them a certain kind of way so that they are receptive to what you're trying to teach them. Because, I mean, you know, I as an adult, if you shout at me, I don't want to hear anything else you have to say.
Yeah.
Right? So that I just to add to that, just patience, and don't be afraid. Just stop in the middle of whatever you're doing and take a break and collect.
Yeah.
What you're saying
I
is,
love that. I love that so much, and thank you so much for saying that, because we have to also remember that for some of them, this is their first school.
Yes.
So if you make it one that is tense and you keep shouting at me, then when it's time for them to actually go to school, they won't want to.
They won't want to.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. You see how much we've been able to learn in just this little time. And I think what's interesting, is this Kenlynn's first year in school?
Yes, it is. I only sent her to second year, and she's going to big school after this.
Wow. That's the word right there, big school.
Kenlynn, are you going to go to big school soon?
You're going to go to big school?
But Lurleen, so we're right at mid-month. It is Child Stimulation Month. I'm so glad you guys had that little virtual rally. But so what happens for the next 2 weeks while we continue to celebrate this Child Stimulation Month?
Districts have different activities planned. Like some of them did the hug day, the virtual hug day. Some of them did grandparents day. Some of them did Belizean day. So we do have the districts who organize different things, but we have three national activities: the rally that went, and then coming up is the Festival of Arts, where we're going to have four 4 presentations from each district being not brought together, virtually. Remember, everything is virtually, and we're going to showcase that. So there is a national showcase of Festival of Arts, and that's going to happen March 30th. But just before we do that, remember, when we look at Festival of Arts, it happens on a district basis. So what our education officers are going to do is to approach the different media houses and ask them to run the videos, maybe at the end of news, between the news and so forth, just to get the different expressive arts out there in terms of drama, poetry, dance, etc., to be shown. And then March 30th, we're going to have where 4 items from each district will be showcased for the National Festival of Arts, and that's going to be aired March 30th. Okay. We also have the National Storytelling Competition, where we have 2 participants, and this is for teachers. We have 2 participants from each district who will be taped, and we're going to combine all of those, and that is going to be shown on March 31st, sorry. The Festival of Arts is March 30th, and the National Storytelling is March 31st.
I know, and that's usually very entertaining. So people are in for a treat that they can see that online. When you see those teachers get on stage and read those stories, it is amazing. So I mean, before it used to be at the Bliss, and so, you know, in every challenge there's opportunity. Now even more people can see it as well. Yes. All right, but we also have some entertainment lined up as well, right? Kenlynn, are you doing a poem for us today? Yes, you've been waiting and waiting. All right. So as we close off our conversation on Child Stimulation Month, and thank you, Lurleen, for giving us all the information. I think you have offered so much reassurance to parents, as well as Kenlynn's mom as well, for talking about her personal experience, helping people realize, 1, they're not alone. 2, it does get challenging sometimes, but most importantly, all of it is benefiting your little one at the end of the day. So thank you for sharing that information. And as Lurleen mentioned, a lot of this information and other tools that you can use are on the Ministry of Education's Facebook page, so they can check it out there. And we're going to close off our segment with little Kenlynn doing a special poem for us, right?
You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Sing your poem. I am special as I can be. I am special, I am me. I have 2 hands and 2 eyes to see, and nose to smell, and my ears hear well, and mouth to talk, and 2 legs to walk. But that's not all, because you see, I am special, I am me. I am special as I can be, because no one looks or acts like me. I am one person, myself, me. And that's the way that it should be.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you, and best of luck for the entire month. All right?
Thank you for having us.
All right, so that's the way it is. We're about to take a break. When we come back, like we mentioned, it's a fun Friday.
I was touching my nose and eyes.
I am special. I am me. I am special as I can be. I have eyes to see,
nose, mouth,
to smell. All right, when we come back, it's going to be a conversation surrounding a telethon fundraising event under the theme Diabetes Care and Control. Save your kidneys, invest in your health. What is all that? We'll tell you when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be back.